Have you ever noticed that most people are poor not because they're stupid, but because they talk too much? They talk about their plans, their goals, about who they're going to become, and in that very moment, they start killing their own future. If you watch this video until the end, you'll understand why keeping your plans to yourself is one of the most underrated weapons of wealthy people, and why every time you share your intentions, you're actually setting a trap for yourself. The problem isn't that you lack ideas. The problem is that you hand them out left and right before they even become reality. You tell your friends that you want to start a business, your family that you plan to earn more, your acquaintances that everything will change soon, and after that, nothing happens. Because the moment you speak your plans out loud, your brain interprets it as partial completion. You've already received a dose of approval, attention, and emotion. You've been praised, supported, and that's exactly why your motivation to act sharply decreases. You haven't done anything yet, but you already feel special. That's how people spend years living in an illusion of movement, staying in the same place. Silence robs you of that cheap reward. Silence leaves you with only one thing: action. When you stay quiet, there's no way back. You can't justify yourself. You can't say, "I tried." You either do it, or you're left alone with the awareness of your own weakness. And this is where true growth begins. Silence protects you from other people's skepticism, from toxic comments, from the eyes of those who have achieved nothing themselves but feel compelled to tell you why you won't succeed. You've heard it before. It's too hard. Now's not the time. The market is already taken. You started too late. Those words may sound like concern, but in reality, they're fear. And if you let that fear into your mind, you quietly start living by someone else's rules. When you remain silent, people have no chance to infect you with doubt. You preserve the purity of your focus and start thinking not about how things look from the outside, but about how they actually work. God doesn't reward talkers. God rewards those who act in silence. Look at the people who have truly made it. They didn't shout about their plans, they didn't ask for permission, and they didn't seek approval. They simply disappeared for a while and returned with results. Silence makes you dangerous because no one knows what you're doing. You can't be predicted, you can't be thrown off course, and you can't be stopped by words. While others are busy discussing, you are building. While others are busy proving themselves, you are earning. While others seek validation, you are laying the foundation. And the most important thing, silence teaches you to rely only on yourself. Not on motivation, not on support, not on words, but only on discipline. And if you think silence is weakness, it means you've never seen true strength being born. Watch this video until the end, because next, you'll discover why silence not only protects your plans, but also multiplies your path to wealth, making the outcome inevitable. But there's a reason almost no one talks about. Silence doesn't just protect your plans, it conserves your energy. Every time you share your goals, you expend energy on explanations, justifications, and conversations. You feed other people's curiosity instead of investing that energy into results. Most people get tired before they even start precisely because they talk too much and do too little. When you stay silent, all that energy stays inside. It doesn't scatter into arguments, proofs, or empty dialogues. You don't have to explain why you chose this path, and you don't have to defend your decisions. You simply move forward. That's why quiet people often turn out to be the most dangerous. They have no energy leaks. Silence also removes the pressure of expectations. The moment you announce your plans, you get labeled. People start expecting results from you, evaluating every step, comparing you to others. You begin acting not for your goal, but for other people's approval. And in that moment, your path breaks. When you stay silent, you are free from that burden. You can make mistakes, change strategy, fall, and get back up without explaining to anyone why you started over again. Here's another painful truth. Most people don't want you to succeed, not because they're evil, but because your success forces them to confront their own weakness. Your silence robs them of the chance to preemptively devalue you, to laugh at you, or to question your intentions. You don't give them the opportunity to prepare excuses for your potential failure. When you work in silence, you stop relying on external validation. You are no longer swayed between euphoria and disappointment. You don't live by other people's reactions. You live by the process. And it is the process, not inspiration, that makes people wealthy. Silence strengthens character. You are alone with yourself, without applause, without support, without the words, "well done." And if you keep moving forward, even in that silence, you become stronger than most. Because most people break exactly when there's no one there to cheer them on. God often tests a person through silence. He watches whether you will work when no one is looking and believe in the path when no one believes in you. It is in these moments that the inner foundation is formed, the foundation on which money, status, and freedom later stand. While you stay silent, you see more. You begin to notice details, mistakes, and opportunities. You stop playing a role and start thinking strategically. You develop a cool head and a long-term vision. You don't rush to show results, you build in a way that lasts. And the longer you are able to walk in silence, the stronger the impact will be when you finally speak. Because in that moment, your words will be backed by reality, not fantasy. It goes even deeper from here, because silence is not just about protection and focus. It's about control, power, and a psychological advantage that most people don't even realize. There's a level at which silence becomes more than just a habit. It becomes a tool of power. Those who speak less almost always control situations more effectively. Words reveal intentions, emotions, and weaknesses. Silence, on the other hand, keeps you closed, composed, and unpredictable. And unpredictable people are both feared and respected. When you stop talking about your plans, you begin to see who is really in front of you. People reveal themselves in your silence. They start talking more, justifying themselves, showing their fears, envy, and limited mindset. You gather information without giving anything away. This gives you a strategic advantage that only those who play the long game truly understand. Silence disciplines your speech, and with it, your mind. You stop complaining, stop dramatizing, and stop blowing problems out of proportion. When words disappear, reality remains. And reality always demands action. That's why people who are used to talking too much struggle with challenges. They are used to voicing their pain instead of solving it. In silence, you start hearing yourself, without outside advice, opinions, or projections. You begin to understand what you truly need and what has been imposed on you. You stop chasing goals that sound impressive but bring neither money nor freedom. Silence cuts through illusions and leaves only what actually works. There's one more point that hits hardest. When you don't talk about your plans, you stop looking for excuses in advance. You don't prepare the ground for failure. You don't explain how hard it was or why circumstances got in the way. You either show up with results or you face the truth. It's painful, but it's this very pain that turns the weak into the strong. Most people fear silence because there's nothing to hide behind. You can't cover yourself with fancy words or loud intentions. In silence, only your discipline, your faith, and your ability to keep moving when no one applauds remain. And if you endure it, you reach a level inaccessible to those who live in words. God rarely grants strength to those who constantly seek validation. True strength is born in the moments when you keep moving forward, even when it seems like you are alone and no one sees you. It is in these moments that the inner core is formed, a core that cannot be broken by criticism or doubt. When you remain silent, you become less vulnerable. You are harder to hurt, harder to throw off course, harder to manipulate. You stop reacting to every word and start acting from cold calculation. And cold calculation is the foundation of real wealth and long-term success. And the most interesting part comes next. Because silence doesn't just give you control over yourself and the situation. It changes how the world starts responding to you. People feel this inner quiet even if they can't explain why. And it is here that true transformation begins. At some point, you start noticing how people's attitudes change when you stop saying unnecessary things. They don't understand exactly what has changed, but they feel the difference. You no longer seek approval, no longer justify yourself, and no longer explain your steps. This creates a sense of weight and seriousness around you. People instinctively respect those who don't scatter their words. Silence removes the chaos. You stop jumping between ideas, projects, and opinions. When plans stay inside, you choose them more carefully. You don't allow yourself to dream aloud about dozens of directions, because you know that every silent decision carries the responsibility of action. This sharply raises the quality of your goals and decisions. Money loves silence. Big deals are not made in noise and bragging. Real opportunities come to those who know how to wait, observe, and act at the exact right moment. While others talk about how much they're going to earn, you build a system that generates money regardless of mood or external circumstances. When you stay silent, you stop living in a future that doesn't exist yet. You return to the present and start doing what produces results today. Small, boring, repetitive actions. These are the actions people hate because there's nothing to boast about, but they are the very actions that make you wealthier, step by step. Silence also breaks the habit of comparing yourself to others. You look less at other people's successes and worry less about someone being ahead. You realize that everyone has their own path and pace, and the only competition that matters is the you of today against the you of yesterday. Here's another harsh truth. When you talk a lot about your plans, you subconsciously prepare for failure. You create a story in advance to justify yourself later. Silence removes that safety net. It leaves only responsibility. And it is responsibility that turns dreams into income. In silence, you start thinking long term. You don't chase quick wins for applause. You think in terms of years, not days. You choose stability over showy success. And this mindset completely changes your financial future. God often guides a person through periods when no one talks about them and no one admires them. These are times not for show, but for building the foundation. Those who can't endure silence fall off the path. Those who stay eventually surprise everyone. And this is where most people give up too soon. They don't see results immediately. They lack recognition. They feel like they're moving into a void. But silence teaches patience. And patience is the currency with which great wealth and true freedom are bought. What remains is the most important part, because in the final section, you will learn how to turn silence from just a habit into a conscious strategy that leads to results regardless of circumstances. By the time you reach this point, it's time to understand that silence is not just a strategy, it is your power. It doesn't make you secretive or weak. It makes you unpredictable and strong at the same time. People who talk too much are always dependent on others' opinions. Those who remain silent create their own reality and control it themselves. Silence turns intention into action and dreams into results. When you don't share your plans, you preserve your energy, focus, and motivation for what truly matters, the work that actually produces results. While others discuss, argue, and justify themselves, you are building a foundation for wealth that no one can destroy. Every day spent in silence brings you one step closer to your goal, backed by discipline, focus, and persistence. You stop waiting for support, approval, or praise. You stop depending on other people's words. You begin to trust only yourself and your actions. And it is this that makes you unstoppable. Silence gives you control over your emotions, your decisions, and your life. You begin to act instead of speak. And that immediately sets you apart from the millions who remain trapped in the illusion of movement. God rewards those who walk in silence because true strength is born in silence. People may not notice your work, but money, opportunities, and results come to those who act, not to those who talk. Your life ceases to depend on the opinions of others, and every step becomes deliberate, precise, and productive. Imagine looking back a year from now and seeing results that no one expected. You will be the one who acted in silence, not the one who shouted about their plans. You will possess what most people spend their entire lives chasing: freedom, income, respect, and control over your destiny. And it all begins with one simple decision: to keep your goals to yourself and turn words into actions. Every time you keep your plans to yourself, you grow stronger. Every time you don't talk about your dreams, you bring yourself closer to the moment when your reality surpasses all expectations. And when the time comes to reveal the results, the world will see not empty promises, but tangible, undeniable success. At that moment, your power will be obvious to everyone, and those who once doubted you will be left only with astonishment and envy. This is how true winners operate. This is how wealth and freedom are built. And now the choice is yours to speak and wait for reactions or to remain silent and act. Choose discipline, choose silence, choose results. Because only those who master the art of silence can turn ideas into wealth and live a life most people can only dream about.